Hey, Scott Spears here, now with Scott Spears, with the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, and we are going to have an episode this week, 30 minutes of pure fun. Last week on the program, Ted was with us, and we discussed everything from President Trump's indictment to Ted's addictions, depression, suicide, all kinds of things that are very important. Find that episode and listen to it. The Dr. Phil's, Ted's thoughts on Dr. Phil leaving, Ryan Seacrest leaving, Rachel Ray, Ann Fisher, Matt Lauer, all that in last week's episode. Find it wherever you can and take a look and a listen to it. But this week is just going to be pure fun. We did all the current events last week. And Ted, one thing I want to talk about, your name for Ted Williams, we talked about during last week's episode.
Yes, absolutely.
Legendary baseball player.
That's right.
We are now in baseball season.
Yes.
We love baseball.
Yes, I love baseball.
We love baseball. And so we're talking about Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose, as we went to Black last week, the end of the program.
Yeah.
For the start of the baseball season, as Harry Carey did so many times, let's sing "Take Us Out to the Ball Game" for the viewing audience here.
Why? You know what? I love Scotty, and he ought to be a let's say a singer or somewhat of a theatrical singer or something. He's always bringing something in where the damn lyrics aren't available and all that. He got me with Candyman. That was the last thing I've done. Who can take the sunrise, sprinkle it with dew, blah, 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 admit the Candyman. He got me with that. Now it's take me out to the ball game. Wait, take me out to the ball game. After that, that's it.
No. Take me out to the crowd.
You lead it.
You don't know Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
No, I don't.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. We're root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game.
That's as far as they're. Don't tell me there's another stanza.
Well, we're gonna do about 7 more songs this episode.
Okay.
No.
We'll take your half hour of after the ball game right after these words.
I thought, Ted, of all songs, that there are 2 songs on God's Green Earth. No, that everybody knows. Happy Birthday and Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
You know, listen,
I thought a man named Ted Williams would know Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
And I do, but I'm one of those people that if I get to an area of lyrics that I don't know, I might do that. But I do know the 1, 2, 3, and you're out at the old ball game. That's about it.
Now here's something that's going to be fun, because he's known as the man with the golden voice.
Yes.
And he was the spokesperson for the very popular ad campaign, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese.
You know you love it.
He has introduced people, the Today Show, we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
But here's what it is. Now this is not singing, so no worry there.
Good.
And it's not lyrics.
Good.
But I got a list here.
Okay.
Of it's the top, this will be fun, the top 13, I believe, slogans for companies of all time.
Okay.
And I thought we'll just go through these. I'll let you have the list here.
Okay.
You see them down there. And we'll do them right into the camera. I'll introduce the company, and then Ted will do the slogan for you. This is going to be, you see what they are down there?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, here we go. Slogan number 1, Nationwide Insurance. The man with the golden voice, Ted Williams.
Nationwide is on your side.
McDonald's.
Ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Ricola Cough Drops.
Ricola.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies.
Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies.
This is a great one. Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
With a little Irish lilt to it there. Campbell's SpaghettiOs.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Oh, do that one again.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
State Farm Insurance.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Campbell's Soup. We talked about this last episode.
Good. Good. Campbell soup are good.
Kit Kat Bars.
Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Toys R Us.
I don't want to grow up. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want.
I knew we'd stumble on that one. I knew.
Wait a minute. Here we go. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Beautiful. K Jewelers.
Every kiss begins with K.
Chia Pet.
Chia.
Chili's.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Baby back ribs.
Now flip the page there to the back.
Okay,
page.
okay.
Number 19, the clapper.
Yeah, clap. Oh, you're off. Whatever.
No. Clap on, clap off.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Clap on, clap off.
The clapper. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now, Ted, what is your favorite slogan of all time that you remember? That way, I'm not springing any lyrics on you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one that you remember?
Kool-Aid. No, I'm just teasing. What was it? My favorite of all of these? Oh.
No, your favorite of all time. Your favorite slogan by any company.
Well, let's see. G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe. Okay, that one.
Well, here's our last one. Now, this is big letters, too. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is going to be big.
Okay.
This has never been done on any program anywhere. The Oscar Mayer Company.
I knew it was going to come to something here.
No. This is good. We got the lyrics here. This was their Oscar. You remember this slogan?
My baloney has a first.
We're doing a little rehearsal here before we get into this.
Hum it or something.
Now, this was their slogan, the
My
Oscar Mayer
Baloney.
Baloney Company.
Okay.
Are you a fan of baloney, Ted?
I love baloney, and Oscar's great. But
Well, here we go.
I don't know. Okay. My baloney has a second name. M-A-Y-E-R. Oh.
You know this.
C-A-R-M-A-Y-E-R. No. What's that one that I just know? Nestle's has the very best chocolate. That's what I'm thinking of.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Nestles. You know, back then you had commercials, and I guess this one is one of them, where the kids learned how to spell. Yeah.
That's what this was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play along with you here. I'll do a reading, and then
Yes,
you can just.
please,
Here we go.
please,
This is how it went,
Okay,
folks.
here we
Okay, this
go.
is first for me too.
Yeah.
You say egads? That just said egads on here on the
Really?
show.
Remember
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that beats any profanity. We can stay on the air when somebody
Egads,
says
yeah.
egad. Say
Yeah.
that in the golden voice, right in the camera.
Egads.
Egads.
Yeah,
Here we go.
egads. Here we go.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. I love
We
to
got
eat
music with this one.
I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I say, cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A. That's all there is to it.
Oscar. Okay.
Hit me with it.
I quit. Here we go.
This will be egads. Here we go.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. I love to eat it every day and ask me how, why, and if you ask me why, I'll say, cause Oscar Mayer has a way, B-O-L-O-N-G-A.
There you
Let
go.
me try it again.
Because we spelled baloney wrong there at the end, and we
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
spell baloney wrong.
You know,
You were
for-
doing it well. You were right on cue there.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. I love to say it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-N,
One more time. We'll get baloney spelled right. You're getting it, Ted.
My
You're getting
baloney
into it.
has a
Pretend you're
fir-
doing that Today Show entrance.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A. Baloney.
There we go.
Man, I love baloney, I really do.
Egads.
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 Now, Ted, as we look back on the history,
Where'd I get egads from? Is somebody?
I like it.
Yeah,
That's one of those terms you don't hear anymore.
yeah. That's why I said it.
I liked it. I mean, because you've said some words here before that we've had to go back and edit out.
Always been known. I'm a cusser.
Yeah, but but egads we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, remember the one time you were on and you sang the Jeffersons theme song? I mean, there's certain things you
Well,
know.
we're moving on up
Yeah.
to the east side. To the east side. Wait,
Deluxe.
please. It's in the sky. Listen.
And then there's Mosh.
You know, I just got hip to the Maud. I love Maud. I love Beatrice Arthur. I love Maud. Let it be known. My new shows that I watch though is Neighborhood with Cedric and Tashina Arnold. I love that show, and I love Blackish with Anthony Anderson and Tracy Ellis Ross. Those are my two shows that I do not miss on a daily. I've never had a particular show that and believe it or not, when was Maude?
1972.
72. I never really watched a full episode because the humor was a little above me, above my age area. But now you can't keep me from Maude.
Well, as I've told you before, and there's this picture that hangs in the studio of me and B. Arthur.
Yeah.
She was the first interview I ever did. First celebrity interview was with B. Arthur.
I love B. Arthur.
And I have a funny B. Arthur story to relay, and maybe we'll swap stories here. When I interviewed B. Arthur, we were on stage in Saugatuck, Michigan. She was doing her one-person show.
Okay.
And I go up to B, and we're doing the interview, kind of like this. It was on television at the time. And I'm sitting there with B, and B is, at that point, probably in her early 80s. And I said to her, she was on a campaign to shut down Kentucky Fried Chicken because of how they treated their chicken. She was a big PETA person.
Really?
Yes. So B. Arthur had said something about the mistreatment of chickens.
Yeah.
And I said in a whisper, in kind of a jocular fashion, I said, "Don't eat the chicken." Well, she couldn't hear me, and she looked at me horrified as I came, and she says, "You don't like chicken?" And I said, no. I said, "Don't eat the chicken." And she goes, "Oh, when you thought and she just clutched her chest. I thought it killed B. Arthur.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my B. Arthur story.
Well, here's my story about KFC and the mistreatment of chickens. I called KFC. They had a slogan that said, "We do chicken right." You know, we do chicken right. I took that tagline, took it off of the spot. I put it on a sound effects spot of chickens that were being slaughtered by the thousands. You could hear chickens in a hen house going, all the noises. I called Kentucky Fried Chicken and I said, "Hi, are you the manager of Kentucky Fried Chicken?" And the manager said proudly, "Yes, I am." And I said, "Hey, you guys have a slogan that says, 'We do chicken right.'" And then he again said so proudly, "Yes, we do." And I played, I said, and I did this live on the radio, I could think of 100 or more thousands of chickens that begged to differ. And underneath it, when he was telling me about what was I meaning particularly and all, I played the sound effect of the slaughterhouse of chickens underneath him being battered and beat up and everything. And when he didn't know it, because he wasn't listening to the radio apparently. And when he got off the phone, I threw the tagline, "And we do chicken right." I got so many calls from various owners of franchises.
You upset the KFC
Oh
bandwagon.
my God. They pulled their spots that they were running, and I got fired as a result of the joke, I thought. But I got rehired within minutes.
So it was a short-term
Yeah.
project.
Oh, I got fired from radio stations like you wouldn't believe, and get rehired.
Was it because of antics like that?
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many antics I did. The Black Panther Party at the time, I was on the air, had what do you call them when you hire when you take over the whole plane, not hijacking, but a
Commandeer.
no. When you charter it.
Charter, yes.
Yeah. The Black Panther Party chartered a United Airlines 727, and they wanted to come on fully armed with AK-47s, M16s, and all. And that was terrible. The Black Panther Party, well, not the NAACP, filed a lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit against the station I worked for.
Really?
Yeah, and I got fired and rehired.
So what did you say? You just rallied against that charge.
Well, no, yeah, because United didn't care at that time. They really didn't want to cater to the idea that the Black Liberation, BLA, was chartering a full load of black people armed with all these guns.
You know, Ted, one of the comments we've gotten most in doing these shows over the years is when you spoke on Amos and Andy, which I do believe is still airing in this market.
Is it favorable or?
Well, no, they loved it. They loved it because you did that vernacular.
Yeah, boss.
Well, and you got away.
I got to tell you, Mr. Oh, that was the most ignorant shit I've ever heard.
Egads.
Egads.
What happened there?
Egads, yeah.
Well, we could have had a nice another egad there, but we just skipped right over that.
Yeah.
No, now, what is, again, because it's a good bring this up again, because it got such a big response when we did it before. What's your feeling on stations airing Amos and Andy today? Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. It's just it keeps us stuck in that rhetoric of yeah, boss. I personally don't care for it because it's old. It's dated. It's black people just don't talk like that no more. Now, if you're trying to educate white children about the programming that we found, or should I say Americans? I'm not going to say white Americans, but Americans found very interesting to know that black people talk like that. Yeah, master. Oh, indeed, yes, sir. You know, those are kind of, I don't know. Hey, Amos, yeah, it did. You know, those kind of, that shit is, egads. That egads is,
You know, during
old and dated.
during this episode,
Man.
when you say words like that, we're just going to flash egads on the
egads,
screen.
okay.
Now, you know what's interesting about that, Ted, though, is during my career, I was able to form a really decent friendship with Robert Guillaume,
Okay.
who was Benson. He
Yeah.
was on my show many, many, many times. And he, internally, when he did soap, was a butler, was a servant
Yeah,
to
I
begin with.
remember that.
And he was a very smart, well-spoken African-American man.
Oh, without
and
a doubt.
he said when he got the word that he was going to do Benson, that he was going to be the
butler.
the butler in this house, he said, how can I do this? This is what but he had no money at the time and so on and so on. But he said they gave him the first script, and then the first script, Catherine Hellman.
Hey,
right?
master.
One time I interviewed Catherine Hellman and Guillaume together,
Okay.
which was a lot of fun. But he said the first scene in the first episode was Catherine Hellman comes into if you've never seen Soap, she was the mistress of the house.
Uh-huh.
She comes in and she goes, Benson, what are you doing? And he goes, what's it look like I'm doing? And she goes, cooking. He goes, then I'm cooking. And she says, what are you cooking? What do you think it looks like I'm cooking? Eggs. Then it's eggs. And to him, that abrasiveness, that comedy allowed him to play that. So, and we've heard this, the only, for a long time, African-American person to win an Academy Award was Hattie McDaniel, who was a servant in Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Now, as an African-American person, if you were offered a role as a Benson type of character or a Hattie McDaniels type of role, would you do it?
I've often felt that I was a Benson inadvertently. In life itself, I've always been. I'll put it to you this way: I've learned that some kings were servants prior to their rise, and so you have to be somewhat of a servant to understand anything to become. Because Robert Guillaume, to he's in the upper echelon of black actors. Yeah, him and Denzel and Sidney Poitier and many of the fallen. I don't think of Harry Belafonte as a big black guy. I love Morgan Freeman, very much so.
Sherman Hemsley?
Sherman Hemsley, yes, absolutely, and others. Yeah.
Did you ever want to act?
Yes, and I've done a few plays in my life, none of which were Broadway plays or anything of that nature.
Since the Golden Voice days?
No.
Now, would you like to be on Broadway? Now, there's something. Now, that is interesting. Because they offer you the radio jobs, they offer
Yeah.
you the commercials,
Yeah.
that you go on the talk shows as a guest. But what about a straight, legitimate play on
They
Broadway?
say the neon lights are bright on Broadway. Yeah, no, I would love to do. You mean standing in the wings being an announcer?
No, in the play.
Oh, yeah, Black Like Me.
No, you could do, what are those great plays on Broadway? Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Oh, that'd be a great one.
Wouldn't that be a great play for you?
That'd be, yeah.
You'd be a
I'd play that.
great in that.
Oh, man.
That'd be fun. Or you could.
And I've lived the life of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I have.
And it'd be
Yeah.
fast. And I think you bring a lot of emotion to something, so I think you'd be a great actor.
Hey, let me tell you, I was on the air a while back, back in my radio days, and I love this lady's reaction. You ready? I'm doing a overnight, sitting in for an overnight, and I'm playing love music. Music for lovers was the format, and I'm very low. It's 5 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock. Here's
Barry White.
Here's Barry White, and this is called whatever. and I got a great people are calling me up. Oh my God, your voice is so sick. I love you too. Things of that nature. Playing with my voice, mind you. So I said, join me this evening. Join me this. Join me this evening. I'll be live at the Frankie J's down on 283 East Spring Street, where I'll be able to talk to you and mingle and sit with you possibly. Well, I'm doing all this overnight, right? Lo and behold, the time comes, this lady runs up to me and she says, "Excuse me, can you tell me where Ted Williams is?" And I'm looking at her and I said, "I'm Ted Williams." She looked at me and said, "Ah!" It was like she could not believe.
A fan.
Yeah, a fan. She could not believe that I was Ted Williams.
Who gave you the Golden Voice moniker? Who called you that for the first time?
Doral Chenoweth.
Doral named you the man with the golden voice.
Yeah.
The photographer who took the video.
He took the video. He said, "I'm going to make you work for your dollar with your golden voice. Tell me, like that."
This is interesting that we get in. This is a good topic to be into because, a good rehearsal. Do you think you would be a good improv person? Like, guess whose line is it in?
Understudy?
Yeah. Could you improv? Because learning lines sometimes is very difficult. But if you, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, I love you talking about lines? Yeah, I could probably. I love the best line I've ever heard. It's no secret for those of you, and I know my current managers probably get mad when I'm saying this, but I have a foot fetish, okay? Very bad foot fetish. But one of the greatest lines I heard in the area of foot fetishes is in the movie Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler. And the butler had a foot fetish. And he looked at Adam Sandler's foot, who was black and it was burnt, it was crusty looking. And he said, "The hideousness of your foot will haunt my dreams forever." I love that. Then I also like Val Kilmer in the role of Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone. When the doctor tells Doc, the real doctor that's evaluating Doc says to Doc, you have, what is it that he died of? The emphysema. It's not emphysema, but it's another one. Anyway, he was dying. He told him he had to, get some rest and all. And Doc was on a roll. He was a hell of a gambler, a hell of a dealer too, and a hell of a gunfighter. So Doc Holliday's like on his last breath. What is it called? Emphysema? No.
COPD.
Close. Same area. Everybody had it. It's an airborne disease as well. You cough and people don't want to be around you.
Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
All right. Hi, ding, 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 ding.
That's it.
EGADS, tuberculosis.
TB.
TB.
And so Doc had TB.
That's a point for me.
Yes.
Okay, we'll write that down.
EGAD.
EGAD.
He dies of TB. And
Nobody has ever
diagnosed
said
with
that word
TB.
laughing.
That's right.
He died of TB.
And so here's the end of the story with the line. He says, his girlfriend comes up to me and comes up to him and says, "Doc, like in other words, don't listen to what he says. You still got it in you to go down there and finish up the gambling and winning all this money, even though you're dying. You know, it doesn't make a difference what he says." And Doc coughs and he looks over to her and he says, "It's time for us to redefine the exact nature of our association." Whoa.
That's a good line.
He looks at her and says, but he says it in a sickly way. He said, "Hey, my dear, it's time for us to redefine the exact nature of our association." Val Kilmer delivered that line.
Now, what about improvisation to where you're given a situation and then you just have to play with it?
Whose line is it anyway?
Yes, whose line is it anyway? Curb Your Enthusiasm has done that way with Larry David.
Okay,
Think
yeah.
you can do that?
Yeah, somewhat.
Well, let's try that. Give me that sandwich you've been eating over there. Here's what we're going to do. This is going to be the situation.
Don't look at it.
We're going to improv this.
Okay.
This is going to be, you have prepared a sandwich and for me.
Yeah.
And I come in and the sandwich has been eaten already. They're just crumbs. Hard to imagine that there's crumbs left on the table. And you're hiding this from me. This is what we're going to serve.
Okay.
Okay. Action.
Hey, my friend, let me just tell you, so this is the best peanut butter jelly you'll ever eat, and I tell you why. It's full whole grain wheat bread. You can't find it. It's got a little bit of oatmeal and so forth. The peanut butter is freshly ground peanuts, and the jelly. Smucker's doesn't have nothing on this jelly.
What sandwich? There's nothing left on this plate but
Listen,
crust.
there are a few pieces left, like this one, for instance. It still has a little bit, and as you'll see, has a little bit of that fine jelly and that delicious. Try one.
Well, what I'm saying is there's nothing left on this plate but
No, there's
droppings.
plenty left on that plate. A homeless person would take that plate and make a full meal out of that. Try eating that.
I understand. I'm not saying that a homeless person should not eat what's on this plate or a person with a home. I'm just saying you were supposed to prepare a whole sandwich and now I got crumbs.
That's part of the sandwich. You put it together, it's like a puzzle. It's a full sandwich.
But
right
what
there.
happened to the rest of the sandwich?
I have no idea. The rest of the sandwich is still there. The other part of the sandwich, maybe we left on the grill or whatever. We can bring that out later. But right now, the point is, eat this sandwich. It's delicious.
Why would you leave the whole sandwich on the grill and bring me the crust on
I
the
don't
sandwich?
know why they left the whole sandwich on the grill still, but it's entirely the part of the sandwich that I want you to try because of the whole grain and the slightly sprinkled oatmeal that's left on here.
Oatmeal?
Egad.
There's no oatmeal on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Who ordered an oatmeal, peanut butter, and jelly sandwich?
Oatmeal makes the whole sandwich, whether you want it or not. It's on there, and it tastes good, and I want you to try it.
But where is the sandwich?
There is no sandwich.
I understand that.
Egads.
There's no sandwich.
Let me tell you, if you don't try this right now, you'll never get a chance to try a delicious sandwich such as the one that I've tried prior to you trying it.
There's nothing here to try.
I'm sorry.
This is...
Waiter!
See, and that's a beautiful
Yeah,
improv.
yeah, there you
And
go.
you do that sort of thing. Now, Ted, we're coming to the end of our time here together.
Okay.
And clearly, we've tried to sing out
Give me
before.
my sandwich.
Yeah, take your sandwich back.
Egad.
The crumbs and all, egads.
Yeah.
Now, what, do you know the Carol Burnett Goodbye song?
My God, no. Thanks for the memory. Oh, no,
That's Bobo. I'm so glad we had this time together.
You know, as a child, you watched a lot of television, haven't you?
Well, I saw it.
Yeah.
It was in the room.
Enough for you to memorize it?
Well, no, that happened later in life.
Oh, okay.
I just pick up lyrics easy.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
If I hear something, it'll stick in my brain.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, is there a song that has stuck in your brain over the years?
Temporarily, you know, themed to good songs and of course good times, and that with Esther Roll and John Amos, and of course J.J. Walker, Jimmy Walker, and Bernadette Stannis and Ralph Carter. I love black comedies, black sitcoms, and all that. You know, and it's not because I'm pro-black or anything like that. Because now I'm learning, at 65 years old, hey, I'm a little more apt.
Okay, you know what? We're going to just take a small break, and we're going to come back for 5 minutes and wrap this all up. Be back with Ted in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
And we're back now. Boy, Ted, we're
Let me
going to
just
go.
say this.
Yes.
I love television black sitcoms. I didn't get a chance to finish this our last segment, but let me be able to say this. I'm finding myself more open to various television shows and to people in general, you know. I want people to know that I love being alive, first of all. Like you said last week, we talked about mental health and all. I love being alive, and I hope one day I will see Kathy again. But I love being alive. Using drugs and so forth is not even in my mindset. You know, I don't think I'll ever go back to that. You know, I don't like being stuck in a rut or being a slave to some dope dealer or taking all my money and not being able to afford the shoes that I like or what I like. And the reason why everybody's like, get a haircut, Ted. Let me tell you, I have a little opener. I want to show my hair. I have a little opener that's coming up as a little bite of me being on the out there on that highway corner, holding the sign with the same hairdo that I had, and they asked me to let my hair grow.
Oh, well, who's that for?
This is going to be for an upcoming episode of Dave Chappelle.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very. So you're going to recreate that moment.
Recreate that.
Mixed feelings about that?
Somewhat.
I bet.
Because Kathy's not there waiting for me on the side of the road. You know, what it is I'm gonna be standing on that same corner, and somebody's gonna throw a bucket of water on me. Anyway, you know, somebody else had an idea of that. What's the name of it? It's a communication, Cox Communications on the west side. And what I was gonna say in favor, if there was no internet, if there was nothing, there wouldn't have been a Ted Williams.
Ted, before we go, we talked about the Thanks for the Memories, Bob Hope goodbye. We talked about Carol Burnett's goodbye. You had a signature goodbye.
I sure did.
Before you do it, tell us how this came about. It's a long goodbye.
Yeah. There was a DJ in New York that used to always, his name was Hank Spann, and he would always sign off. You know, back in the 70s, as you all well could attest to, radio was personality. It was all about that gentleman who was behind the mic, and that was him. It wasn't something that was scripted or, they didn't have no guy that was going, a consultant. All radio's programmed by consultants. No more back then they had program directors. Now it's a consulting firm that ain't even in this market. Down in the southern market across the United States, wherever, that's telling them what's popular in this market, and it doesn't work, you know. But anyway, personality radio, and whenever he'd go off the air, he had a signature goodbye. Well, that was my thing. I wanted to create one in which his name was Hank Spann, my name is Ted Williams, but we all had our own going on.
Before we say goodbye, I want to say, as I always say when Ted is on the program, and he's been with us the past 2 weeks, that I always tell people, because a lot of people ask me, it's very interesting, I want to tell this story very quick, so I'm glad we did take a break there, so we could do this. The other day, I was going into the grocery store, and a young kid named Matthew, I don't even think he's 20 years old yet, he comes up to me and he says, I tried to text you, I tried to call you the other day, I couldn't get a hold of you. And I said, for what? What did you need? I thought he was something.
Yeah.
That's the urgency he came up to me with. And we're not close, you know, we just know each other.
Right.
So he comes up to me and he says, I was in the restroom the other day and I was looking at Snapchat. And he said a video came up for the golden voice man, Ted Williams.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm watching this video while I'm in the restroom, waiting. Like people used to read magazines.
Yes.
People used to read magazines when they were in the restroom. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's the new way they do it. So he says, I'm in there and I'm watching this little 3-minute video. And he goes, the lifespan, of Ted Williams comes up. And he gasps. The life story of Ted Williams comes up. And he says in the middle of it, it says, and in 2015, he announced his run for presidency on Now with Scott Spears. And he knows me, and he said, I had to rewind that to make sure. He said, do you know Ted Williams? And I said, well, God, yes, we've done a zillion shows together. And this is the point of this. The question was, What is Ted Williams really like? That's what people want to know.
Well, I tell you, you don't want to meet him. He's a doozy. Egads.
Here's what I tell people. This is the truth, and I can be marked out. Kids in school. I teach a class and have taught a class for 4 years at school. The kids have seen videos. They YouTube you. You know, they'll YouTube me, and our videos will come up.
Now I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, and they'll come up and they'll say, you know Ted Williams, what's he really like? That's what they always say. Or how's he doing? That's what they ask me if they know I know you. And this is what I always tell them. This is the truth.
I know this, man.
I have no problem saying this. Because this is, you reminded me of something there. I always say Ted reminds me of Picasso. Because Picasso was probably the most brilliant painter of our time, but he cut his ear off. And I say, I don't think Ted would disagree with this, that sometimes getting Ted to a show or getting him to a performance or getting him to a radio thing can come with a lot of kerfluffle. There can be a lot of time issues and just things like that can happen. But once he's on the mic, once the camera's on, you get Picasso. So all the kerfluffle is worth it because nobody's better when they're on than Ted Williams. And that's what I've always truly believed about Ted Williams. And that's what I tell people. That is the truth.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of our service mission. Till we return to Burn tomorrow or the next day or tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, in between time, if you're driving on the highways and the byways, or if you're in the street on your feet, do remember to take it with care to get there. Brother man, sister too if you can, be nice to someone short, because you never know when someone short has to be nice to you. In the meantime, in between time, may your God be with you. I'm going to take 2 steps to the rear and get out of here. May your God be with you. I love you, Marion, Ohio. I love you, Columbus, Ohio. I love you. What's the guy's name? Matthew? Hey, Matthew. Keep asking him how I'm doing.
The one and only man with the golden voice. And I love you, Ted. It's
I love
wonderful
you.
association.
WWGH.
Scott Spears.
107.1 FM on your dial.
With the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, heading for the dugout.